Corruption is the abuse of public power for private gain. Each year, bribery alone causes global damage worth more than $1 trillion. Corruption affects developing and emerging countries the worst. The loss and misallocation of resources means that urgently needed investments in development are not made. Schools are not built. Teaching materials, such as school books, are not provided. Parents are unable to afford the unofficial payments they must make for their children's education. Children are robbed of their futures. The health sector worldwide loses 300 billion euros a year due to corruption. Poor people in particular get to feel the consequences. Thousands of children and pregnant women die because they cannot afford the bribes they are asked to pay to get treated in hospitals. Corrupt judges and public attorneys create legal uncertainty. That scares off private and foreign investors. Economic development is thus hampered. Corruption is the main impediment to development. Corruption is a global problem. The international community has come together under the framework of the UN Convention Against Corruption. They have joined forces to prevent and eradicate corruption. German development cooperation often operates in countries with weak state structures. Anti-corruption, which is the eradication and prevention of corruption, is already an essential part of German development work. At the same time, there is plenty of scope for stepping up efforts in this field. An important step in this direction is the new strategy, Anti-Corruption and Integrity in German Development Policy, by the Federal Ministry for Economic Cooperation and Development. The strategy is based on a simple formula of 3 times 3, 3 levels of intervention, 3 players. German development policy is fighting corruption on 3 levels. First, it supports cooperation countries in implementing anti-corruption reforms. Second, it ensures a responsible use of development funds through comprehensive internal risk management. And third, it complies with international commitments and promotes these actively. Especially 3 groups of players make a significant contribution to the fight against corruption: state institutions, civil society, and the private sector. In Honduras, the German government has been supporting the Transparency Division in the Education Ministry since 2010. One major problem is the high level of canceled classes in the schools. Often teachers are paid, but they do not teach. As part of a transparency campaign, transparency blackboards were introduced at school level. Designed by pupils, parents, and teachers, these blackboards display information about the resources available and how they are used. With that information, civil society can monitor whether the teachers employed and paid by the school actually turn up for class. As a result, the number of reported infractions has risen, which means that problems can now be recognized and eliminated. This success has encouraged the ministry to equip all Honduran schools with such blackboards. KfW Entwicklungsbank, on behalf of the German government, makes an important contribution to internal risk management of German development funds. It subjects the implementing partner agencies, for example, water supply or energy companies, to a thorough analysis in 3 areas prior to the start of a project. First, what is the political environment in which the implementing agency operates, what influences the agency subject to, and how do the external oversight mechanisms work? Second, how are the internal decision-making, remuneration, and oversight structures and personal management organized? Third, does the implementing agency have the necessary staff, technical capacity, and funding to carry out the assignment in question? If the partner agencies do not pass the test, they can be barred from implementing the project. Under the Convention Against Corruption, German development cooperation, together with the United Nations, has developed an instrument which can be used to monitor the compliance of national legislation with the rules and regulations of the Convention. On behalf of the government, GIZ is supporting this process in Kenya and Yemen. In Indonesia and Bangladesh, GIZ is also helping partner governments to develop action plans for implementing the UN Convention Against Corruption. At the same time, German development policy is boosting South-South exchange by promoting the networking of anti-corruption commissions. As we have seen, numerous concrete anti-corruption projects are already being implemented. But anti-corruption is also a cross-cutting task for development cooperation. Wherever corruption is an impediment to development, anti-corruption must be addressed in every project, with each player and at all levels. Awareness for the topic of corruption, a risk analysis before we engage, and risk-aware implementation of all development cooperation projects are crucial. The basic principles are transparency, participation, accountability, and integrity. Each and every individual can apply these principles in their daily work. Corruption is the main impediment to development. That is why anti-corruption means enabling development that lasts.